Hello, 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 fellow tourists. My name is Josh, and welcome back to another episode of Dr. Stone. Now, last episode was the assassination of Senku. I was going to say it was the flashback episode. No, that episode's still playing in loop in my head. No, but last episode, I was hoping, just a small glimmer of hope, that maybe Zeno would feel like just the tiniest bit of sentiment towards Senku. Maybe like he's like, oh, I raised that boy. Not really. I gave that boy all the scientific knowledge he knows. But no. He's thought about it. He's like, well, his scientific mind would be a great asset in this world, but I do not see a possibility of him ever wanting to join sides with me. So I will just kill him. And he sent Stanley to kill him. It did not go well for Senku. Stanley was able to deduce the real Senku with a little bit of help from Zeno, and he shot him. Blood was spilled, but Senku may or may not have blocked it, kind of, sort of, not really, with like this scientific, not cement, something, not something really. And that's actually a very good segue into some Q&As that we had. During the discussion last week, I was saying if I was Senku, I would have been flat, I would have done everything I could to stay out of the bull's path, lay flat and hope that Stanley doesn't shoot that low or pretend that I got shot. But Ashes was saying from YouTube, said it was meant for Senku to get shot. If he didn't get shot, Stan would have open fired until he had Senku dead, which I don't know if Senku's going to fake his death or I understand that it was meant Stanley would keep shooting until Senku's dead, but I guess we just have Taiju yell, "Senku was shot!" And then Stanley hears that because you could hear Taiju from halfway across the world. But I don't know what the game plan is. Is he gonna fake his death and then he gets revived? I do not know. But there's only one way to find out, and that's by... And this is where I have to stop myself. Yeah, so the plan was to go through all the Q&As from last episode, one by one, before watching this episode. It took me about half an hour to do that. So we're going to start the episode and then get into the Q&As. But know that I did read all the Q&As before actually watching this week's episode. So I will be referencing some things mid-episode. That's because I talked about it, and I didn't think it would take that long to actually talk about them all. So yeah, we're gonna watch this week's reaction, then we're gonna get into last week's Q&As, and then we're gonna get into this week's Q&As. I didn't mean for it to be that way, but my bad, G. Let's get into the episode. If Luna defects this episode, I wonder if we're gonna see her in the kind of panning shot where everyone's in next episode. Yeah, I have a feeling that they're gonna add characters to it. It's probably gonna be Luna, Carlos, and Max. Like right here, like this. I feel like that takes a long time for it to, for a new character to pop up. So I feel like Luna, Max, and Carlos are gonna come up there. That's pretty bad. And yeah, you have Taiju yell his name. That's better confirmation than anything else.
Hold up! What about Miss Luna?
Leave her, save her. The choice is yours.
Yeah.
Damn it! Really?
You just alienated these guys.
About now, they're thinking they can ratchet up the pressure and wait around for us kids to surrender. So while our enemy's feeling overconfident, it's time to strike back. Am I wrong?
I love that Ryusui's kind of like the de facto leader. And he's basically a co-leader with Senku.
That all makes sense. You're not wrong, but it's too soon. Like, we can't just spring into action. The dude's not even cold yet.
Poor Senku at least deserves a proper burial.
He's difficult to understand, but he says the bullet went clean through.
Ooh.
Hey! Don't try
That's
to
good,
call
but...
arrest you hear me?
At least there's no surgery needed.
Silence, master.
If it was a headshot, he would have died instantly without fail.
Who knew they spoke deathbed?
Oh, Luna flashback. Okay.
I'm gonna become a capable woman and score myself a smart hunk of man.
You're our
only hope.
Whatever you didn't understand, you can understand with the power of friendship.
Senku. He's our friend.
Taiju. That was great.
They'll definitely see us coming no matter what we do.
I'm not gonna lie.
Be living target
I
practice
completely
for those
forgot about
hours.
Chrome and Kohaku.
True.
We also have to capture Dr. Zeno and make our escape.
Capturing Zeno, that's gonna be a high
Dig our
call.
way in.
Digging?
Say what now?
Seriously?
Yes. A reverse great escape.
I don't think you guys are gonna get that.
2-4.
It's about Senku. He's been shot. For now, he's still alive.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I feel like you would want to say that Senku's been shot. Without
We just have to dig regardless.
is that Chrome? Yeah. I would think you want to say like outside of the code, Senku's been shot, and then like maybe send another message
We also
later
got
that
a
like
message from
he's okay.
Senku. Only 3 characters.
Don't try to fight it. You know what to do.
Man, I feel like it's been a while since we've had a Chrome episode. Gyokyo!
As of now, you're the scientist.
Should have changed the entire name of the series for this one episode. That Dr. Stone, it should have been Dr. Chrome instead.
Our mission
I miss
is to
Chrome.
the secret tunnel.
He's right there. I still miss him.
Main base.
We'll need 2 weeks minimum.
Alright, that's the rest of the season. I wonder if Senku's gonna be out of commission for the rest of like this part of the season.
Along with him, we make them cautious and get them thinking it's safer to wait. So we'll have to do our part to steer them in that direction.
How do you make them cautious?
Wrong.
We're gonna buy a shit ton of time. Right now,
The
Ukyo's carrying
Medusa.
the real Medusa. Dr. Zeno's about to get a very special delivery.
Easiest paycheck for for the voice actor right there. Oh.
What's that?
What a shot!
Is that what I think it is? A petrification weapon?
I see. Despite this man's credibility, it's indisputable that this rather elegant machine
That's
far
cute.
surpasses the technology
Senku's
of the old
shared
world.
pictures. Oh, that's cute. But that was just so much more
How
cold.
long's it active?
Oh! Mortal Kombat finisher right there. He's the doctor. Okay.
Forgot who you talking to, have you, boy? Give me 2 more weeks. I'll have it all ready waiting for you.
2 more weeks. That's almost the end of the
That's a
season.
sufficiently elegant answer.
I thought he was special service because of the tux he was wearing.
Bones! The enemy science will progress as well.
The heck is that thing?
And the clock is ticking.
Ah, Kasaki versus Brody. I love that.
It's our science
Interesting.
against
Chrome
theirs.
versus
A true
Stanley?
crafting war.
What if we used Taiju
No way I
instead?
can pull this off all alone.
Dr. Chrome's first ever original scientific
Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my god, yeah, this is Chrome's first science map.
Best idea I've ever had. Spin the crap out of it and it'll dig a tunnel on
Huh.
itself. I bet you
Yeah.
didn't have anything like this in the 21st century.
No, yeah, we
And you're
did.
saying that this invention of yours is some kind of powerful dirt-ripping loop knife?
So it's a drill.
Really though?
Oh, Chrome, you're fighting a losing battle, but it's still so impressive that you're able to come up with the stuff that you have no idea existed.
Heck yeah.
That was a great episode. I feel like I had to smile. I feel like this episode was longer than most episodes. I don't know. It's like we had the recap. Maybe it's because it was split into the recap, Senku dying, not really. The Chrome's team and Zeno's team. Like there was 4 parts to this episode. It felt longer than usual. I like that. I didn't know. I didn't get this feeling that the episode was gonna end throughout it. It just kept going. I didn't write anything. I only wrote down Dr. Brody. I really thought he was special services, just because I feel like in the last episode he was wearing tux. I thought he and the other, I don't think, I keep forgetting her name. I don't even know if I wrote it down or if it's been said. But the other woman, I thought both of them were special services. But no, he's the Kaseki of the group. And I think he's making a bomb. I have no idea what he's making. It's just a big black silhouette. Was got to be something devastating. But yeah, this episode, yeah, is pretty straightforward. Luna did end up betraying Zeno. Good. And I think a lot of what, a lot of that is due to a lot of the reasons that Anne Leafdoor said in her comment. Stay tuned. I was gonna put that comment. I was gonna put all the Patreon comments from last episode at the beginning of this week's discussion, but that took like half an hour to get through. I'm like, oh, I should probably put this at the end of the episode. So yeah, stay tuned to that. There's some really good comments to read through. But yeah, so she's helping Senku now. Her cool and capable guy, the exact guy she wanted, or like her dream guy, Mr. Science Dreamy Smart Man. So she's helping him out with her kind of doctor, not really doctor degree. I forgot how my sister knew this, but I think between episodes, my sister was telling me that there was a part, I think it was like her character bio. I think she was looking at heights, and Luna's character bio said that she was studying to be a doctor. So I told her, like, I made a joke saying when Senku was shot, that I was like, is there a doctor on board? I guess Francois can pick up that role. But no, Luna, she might not know everything, but you know, with the knowledge she does have and the power of friendship in her other hand, she can do anything. Man, this episode's great. Just something about Dr. Stone always makes me smile, even though like we had like the serious moment with Senku, like on his deathbed. Even then, it's like Taiju asking Luna, you know, bowing down, like, please save him. She's like, that made me smile, just like how much love Taiju has for Senku and how much love he puts into his voice. And it's like the pure version of Stanley and Zeno. Stanley and I need to see more of them kind of interacting with each other, or be put in serious situations like that. But no, they are just parallels. It's like the light side is Taiju and Senku, and then the dark side is Stanley and Zeno, because they use their talents and gifts to either harm or conquer, whereas Senku and Taiju, they use their talents and gifts to give, teach, and enjoy life. Man, I love both their relationships. I love both their relationships so much. I want to see more. I don't know. It feels so weird saying I want to see more of the villains. I like, as if the cast isn't big enough. I really want to see more of the villains. I want to see more of Stanley and Zeno's their relationship, their chemistry, the kind of bond that they have. It's one of the reasons why I want to have like a whole episode dedicated to the flashbacks. And then the rest of this episode. Yeah, one thing I will say, I don't know how they got there. I don't know if they have a car. They might do. I feel like Stanley. No, did they take a plane? No, they would have heard it. I feel like Stanley got. He got to. So he was at Zeno's base. Went all the way to the boat, shot Senku, and came back. He got there so fast when compared to Tsukasa, compared to Tsukasa's group, the battle team. Because I think Tsukasa's group left after Stanley did his drive-by, right? He was like in the plane. kind of to intimidate everyone. I'm pretty sure they let her like, okay, we need to go do our own preemptive strike. So Stanley was there, got the information about Dr. Taiju, left, shot Senku, and came back, all in the time it took Tsukasa battle team to go meet up with Chrome and Kohaku. I feel like that was really quick, but I don't know what the timeline was between everyone leaving and like I don't know. It's like it's not a big thing, but I feel like it was so fast. But maybe Stanley has a car or something. I feel like they walked there. That's why they had Carlos and Max carrying all that water and food. Well, I don't know why I'm looking at my notes. I didn't write anything down. And then yeah, the last thing I really have for this episode is it's just Chrome, man. I've said this once before, I think. At the very least, I've thought it. But in earlier seasons, it's like when he made the water wheel, when he made a magnet, or not a magnet, when he made a metal detector, was it? Yeah, right? I think a metal detector. Chrome invents a lot of things. And technically, from a certain point of view, he's not inventing them, he's remaking them. But for Chrome, he's inventing these things. Now, he has no idea. He had no idea that the water wheel existed. He had no idea what that could do. He had no idea a metal detector was even feasible. He just needed to find rare minerals really quickly. And with this, he didn't know what a drill was. And he made up the concept of a drill. And for Suika and Kohaku, that's like, whoa, what's this? That's super impressive. And with everyone else, the present day people, they were like, oh, so it's just a drill. But that's cutting, like, that reaction is cutting Chrome so short because he did not know what a drill was. This is something that he came up with on his own. The amount of things that Chrome has come up with on his own is incredible. The amount of firsts this man has had, you cannot sell him short. And I love that Senku does not sell him short either. That face he made when he's like, like that determined face when he got the message, which was I'm pretty sure it was Chrome, like the chemical symbol for Chrome. He knows that Senku believes in him. We're not, we are. I hope we're, I don't think Senku never not believed in Chrome. I think he always had faith in Chrome. We are not in the era where Chrome doubts himself anymore. He is a full-fledged scientist, and he knows it. He knows that it's his responsibility and that he can carry the weight. It's so good. Oh, it feels so weird to say I miss Chrome. Like, he's a part of the cast. He's been here for a while. He just hasn't had like a lot of oomph. He hasn't had a lot of stuff to do since season 2. It's good to have him back. It's good to have him back in the forefront. Chrome. The stuff like that just makes me smile. That's why I love Dr. Stone so much. I was going to reach for my phone, but I could actually look at it from my computer. So now we're going to go into... Okay, wait. Well, first of all, we're going to go into the Patreon stuff. So that goes now. We're going to take a little bit pause from the YouTube comments and go to the Patreon comments from Ann Leafdoor. And she left comments in both the full-length and the early access versions of the videos. So if you want to get early access to these videos before they pop up on Monday, you can see them over the weekend. Check out the Patreon as well as the full length. But she says, my guess is the reason that Luna couldn't follow their conversation is that she's from the USA and they were talking in Japanese. You notice that this sort of thing in the manga and in the subs version, they'll sometimes depict the different languages to make it clear when someone is using a shared or different language, but in English dubs usually they don't. Which, yeah, last episode, Senku and like the heads, everyone was talking about the Medusa and how it's like their greatest play, and I was kind of going like, guys, Luna's right behind you, but Luna didn't register it at all. I thought she was just in her head, but no, what Anne says makes complete sense because I don't even know how they're communicating. I don't know if Luna's speaking Japanese or if I guess everyone's speaking English for Luna's sake. But I wish the dub had something to kind of like at least like tell you like in a little subtitle saying like in the corner, or like middle of the screen just says they're speaking English now or they're speaking Japanese now. Like I was gonna say this a while back, a few episodes back, but I really like it in dubs when they actually dub another language, or they use another language, because with in the Japanese sub, obviously some of these characters are actually speaking English. And I was watching The Devil is a Part-Timer a few years back, and in one of the newer seasons, they had a scene where in the Japanese sub, they were ordering a burger in English, and they were using English. So in the dub, they ordered the burger in Spanish, and it was hilarious. So I think it would be really difficult to do that here, because half the time characters are either going to be speaking English or Japanese. It's not going to be like this like 30-second comedy bit where someone's like says something funny in English. It would be like, all right, these characters are speaking English, so this entire time this person's gonna have to be speaking Spanish. And it would be hard for it to do it in both dub and sub. So I wish they did do something just kind of to distinguish, either just like let you know, or like remind the audience like, okay, unless they're talking directly to or they're speaking in Japanese, or that completely flew over my head. But yeah, I will go like from now on. If Luna doesn't seem to understand or doesn't seem to pick up what the Kingdom of Science is talking about, I will just, instead of like, oh, she's in her own head, it's just, I'm gonna use the language barrier. That's something that I did not even think about. I completely forgot about that fact, actually. The second comment from Anne is a very long one. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover all of it, but I do respond to all of your guys' comments, but there is a lot of good stuff in this comment. So the first one, the big one, is the timeline. This is something I've been getting confused a lot recently. Maybe not confused, but I've just been kind of getting lost recently with the timeline of Dr. Stone. It's been a long time, both in real years and in universe years, since season 1, and Anne thankfully has a great breakdown. Senku and Zeno both woke up in spring about 3.5 years ago. Senku was 15.5 at the time. Then Senku spent 1 year, not a month. That's my bad. I thought he spent a month. Just experimenting. No, a whole year experimenting alone, and then with Taiju to eventually invent revival fluid. They revived Tsukasa straight after, so then Senku spent 1 more year on the Stone Wars, trying to gain the villagers' trust and teaching them to get some amount of manpower and resources. Though 1.5 years after that was mostly peaceful and spent on development and building the ship and finally getting platinum on Treasure Island. So that's just a lot of events compacted in the 3.5 years. It feels like both so much time and not enough time. Like, wow. It's just, when you think about how much time passes in Dr. Stone, I think in the Ryusui special, they at one point, I think like a year passes within an episode, just like a little montage. Just I love Dr. Stone so much. Like, you feel the time passing, but also you don't realize how much is passing. But anyway, Zeno in contrast started out with everything Senku didn't have. He had fully educated and adult allies he could trust and platinum from the get-go. Some of the strongest manpower you can ask for, even though their numbers are limited, and the natural resources from the USA. No wars or threatening opponents, and he could focus on building for the full 3.5 years. Of course, they're ahead of the Kingdom of Science and Technology. If there weren't, they'd be incompetent. And like you said, Dr. Stone does not have incompetent villains. And yeah, I feel like last episode really put a lot into perspective of just how much ahead, or how much luck Zeno had when it came to building his own Kingdom of Science. Because Senku did not get platinum until in continuity like 3 months ago, I think. It took them like 40 days, 75 days, I think, to travel the sea. So yeah, he did not get his hands on platinum until very, very late. And Zeno's had it from the get-go. And like you said, while Senku's while the Kingdom of Science like they all have their talents. They're all very talented. They're all naturally gifted. Zeno's team, not only are they all talented, but a majority of them are adults and in the best in their field. Like Stanley is, I guess you could say Stanley is like both the better Tsukasa and the better Taiju in terms of ability. And then we have other characters which I'm sure that we have not met yet. Like Luna, I don't really know if there's anyone you can compare Luna to, but we've seen a lot of the adults. The two FBI, I think they were FBI agents. The big characters, like the muscle team. I'm sure that, I mean, they're special services at the very least, so they've got to be doing something right. So yeah, Zeno had the manpower. Well, he didn't have the numbers, but he had the manpower in terms of like these select few are the best of the best, and he made sure that they did everything that they could perfectly. He allocated his resources perfectly. So yeah, now that I know the exact timeline, it's like it's crazy to think Senku spent like a year and a half, or almost 2 years. Yeah, they spent almost 2 years just either Senku by himself or at war. Two very crucial years. And Zeno over here was like, all right, build the gunpowder factory, boys. Build the planes. Like Zeno had nothing to worry about. And it's like Gen said, I forgot what season it was. I think it was season 3. But Gen was telling Senku, you have the worst luck. And it's true. Like Senku is the ultimate underdog. Like he might have all the answers in his head, or he might be able to come up with all the answers in his head, but man, the world is gonna make him fight to get the results. I'm gonna go over to this part of her comment. The alcohol part of the revival fluid is only necessary for the people who lost consciousness while in the stone. I'm guessing that once you've used enough brain power as a statue, diluted nitric acid will be enough. It's how Senku and Taiji woke up. Okay, so then it makes sense that Zeno and Senku woke up first because they thought the most intensely. Oh yes, they're the OP brainiacs. Then it also makes sense that it took Taiju and the people around Zeno a bit longer before nitric acid also became effective on them. There was enough of it in the environment to work. There was no other hints that they would have directed Zeno to discovering the recipe for revival fluid. Yeah, so I think one of my, it wasn't a major question, just a small question, was if Zeno woke up out of pure brain power, or if he had a little bit of nitric acid on him. Because I think even with Senku, it's implied that the nitric acid was dripping from the cave to him, or at least in the environment around him. And I don't think with Zeno we saw like that direct implication, but the cave was really close. So I'm just gonna go with that. While it was not dripping on top of him, Zeno was close enough to the cave that the nitric acid in the soil, diluted as it was able to break him out, just because he and Senku were thinking so much. They were probably the two people on Earth that are thinking the most. And then Stanley, everyone else, well, they are also in like the irradiated soil, like the nitric acid soil. They're probably not thinking as hard or as much as Stanley was, so he just like put a little bit more of the nitric acid directly on them, and that helped them break out faster. But yeah, no, well, like with Zeno here, nothing could have directed him to the proper answer of revival fluid. Senku took 1 year, like 1.5 year, experimenting. And it took him all that time. It took him 1 year to find that revival fluid. Now, seeing that Zeno has more professionals around him, and seeing how much he's been able to accomplish in 3.5 years, if he dedicated himself, he probably could have found the revival fluid in like half that time. He probably could have found the answer, but that is not his goal. Zeno's goal is not to wake up everyone. He wants world domination. And right now, I think Zeno's still building his army. Because they have great strength, but they do not have the numbers. And I think he's still building that loyal army before he starts waking up just random people. Because you do not want a Tsukasa on. Zeno doesn't want to wake up a Tsukasa, even though he has guns. But still, like the risk is just too great. This is a really good one. This is one that this is the reason, this upcoming part, this is the reason why I wanted to talk about these comments before I went into the episode. Luna giving Zeno the info on Senku. I actually don't blame her for that, because I agree with you. She didn't want anyone to die. I can imagine her thinking, hey, if this guy knows Zeno, maybe he's a friend of his. I'll let him know, and then we might be able to get out of this without anyone needing to get shot. I don't think she's ruthless enough to imagine that Zeno would jump straight to killing someone he personally knows. And yeah, that part right there, that is why I wanted to read this comment before going into the episode, because I think this episode, Luna's gonna betray Zeno for this exact reason. Or maybe not this episode, but I think this exact reason is gonna be the beginning of Luna stepping away from Zeno, just because what you said. Like, I was kind of confused. I'm like, oh wait, Luna, why are you selling out Senku? That was part of my discussion. I was like, something I was kind of questioning Luna on. Like, yeah, she's kind of turning, but she's also giving Zeno more information. But no, that's perfect thinking, because Luna is peaceful. Like, she just wants to find a cool and capable man for her cool and capable self. But she doesn't want anyone to die. I don't think she's on Zeno's whole world domination thing. They didn't even meet, like, they didn't even really mean to wake her. The female FBI agent or special service, she just poured it on Luna. I think kind of just like, oh, let's see if it, like, it's not gonna, like, no harm, no foul. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, the nitric acid that they had, it's not a resource that they were kind of holding. There's like, oh, we have a lot of it. Why not just try, like, these random people? They might have heard it, and everyone was shocked when Luna woke up. It's like, it's not like she was, we need to wake up Stanley, we need to wake up the FBI agents, we need to wake up these other scientists, I think, that were around. But Luna, Carlos, and Max, I think, were all accident. No, it was Carlos or Max, my bad, not Luna, that they accidentally woke up. But still, I'm gonna assume that they didn't really mean to. Like, they're like, oh, it's the kid. I mean, like, might as well try manpower, right? But yeah, Luna, I think she's very peaceful. I don't think she wants anyone to get hurt. And she even said, I think she even said it at one point, and that makes sense. It's like, oh, he thinks that these are enemies, but if Senku and Zeno know each other, if they go way back, if Zeno is this guy's teacher, then maybe Zeno will see, like, oh wait, we could, oh my god, is that, it's been 3,000 years, you know? I think that's probably, I think you're right, that's probably where she was going. And the fact that Zeno still cold-heartedly gave the order to shoot Senku, that's probably going to start turning her. Good question about petrifying a dead person. My guess is it may depend on the state of the body. People who are technically dead can be revived if you can get their heart beating again, for example. And yeah, I think as long as the body's not rotting, you can bring them back. I mean, I completely forgot when talking about this, but Tsukasa technically died. And they brought him back. They froze him cryogenically. And yeah, he was probably dead. Senku's like, I have to kill you to save you. And they preserved his body long enough. So yeah, as long as the body's preserved, they could probably come back. But if they are, if they gone and they ain't preserved, I don't think we're not gonna get zombies. There's something about Zeno and Stanley. Oh yeah, okay. So for some context, last episode I was talking about, like, kind of like romantic underlinings between Zeno and Stanley. And this has kind of been something that's been going on in the Discord. We have a manga reader in there, and like, he's been really good about not spoiling things. As things get revealed, he starts talking about what he thinks, and he's got his yeah, I've already seen that he has his thoughts on this episode, so I can't wait to read that. But he's kind of been going like, oh, here's some behind the scenes stuff about this, and one of them is kind of the author's maybe intent on Stanley and Zeno, but it was never really confirmed in the manga. So I was talking about it, and like the last episode, I can definitely see some like kind of the undertones. I think that's the term. I could definitely see like, yeah, I think he's trying to imply it, but either he doesn't want to confirm it, or like the studio doesn't want him to do it. But there's something about Zeno and Stanley. Outside of any possible romantic aspect to their relationship, I actually suspect that Zeno and Stanley's relationship may be a lot like Senku and Taiju's. One mostly brain, the other brawn, though in a different way as Stanley is a soldier. Zeno has an ambition, so Stanley will help him with it. If one left the other behind, they'd both assume they had a good reason for it and trust they'd be able to fulfill any of their mutual goals. Maybe I'm just projecting though, seeing a dark mirror image of Senku and Taiju and Zeno and Stanley. I really like this. I still think that there's kind of romantic undertones with Stanley and Zeno, but I also think that you can argue, or if not have both of them at the same time, that Stanley and Zeno are supposed to be a dark reflection of Taiju and Senku. And like if you think about it, it's very true. Like Zeno and Senku, it's very given. It's very much a given. But Taiju and Stanley, that's interesting, because Taiju is a protector. All right, he doesn't throw punches. He is the human shield, but he's also the brawn. He is the pinnacle of how did Senku put it? Like it's season 1 with Magma, but he's the pinnacle of like the strength that allows science to continue. The everyday people that make it, that the everyday people that use their strength to help science progress. And Stanley is kind of the opposite in terms of being a protector. He is a soldier. He is still very strong, but in the opposite ways that Taiju is. And he's willing to use his strengths to kill, not to protect. And you know, Stanley and Zeno's relationship, while they might be closer than Taiju and Senku could ever be, there's still like, it's still that bond that like there's that bond that Zeno and Taiju have, or that Senku and Taiju have, and Stanley and Zeno have a very similar bond. And I think that just gives more weight to Taiju's character too. He hasn't been in a lot of the show. He's one of my, I mean, I say this for every character, but I love Taiju so much. He's one of my favorites, especially like early Dr. Stone, those first like 6-ish episodes. And I think that just gives more weight to him, that we have an evil, twisted version of him. Like having an evil Senku, that's a given, right? You have to have that. You have to have that in your science show, your evil scientist. But having your evil Taiju, I think that gives him more weight as a character, not just how important he is to Senku. So I really like that part of your comment here, Anne. Do you think the petrification healed any previous lung issues Stanley had already built up from his smoking? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if it healed Tsukasa's sister's brain, and if it, I think, didn't Tsukasa's lung get pierced? Something very important in Tsukasa got pierced in Hyoga's attack. If that got healed, then yeah, I think, and what's his name? Kasaki's arthritis too, right? So I think Stanley has a perfect bill of health, and he's starting to destroy it again. I also like that it wasn't just Stanley that realized Senku had given himself away by following Luna's line of sight. Senku himself realized it. That's why he ran straight afterwards. And yeah, Dr. Stone villains are always been super capable, and it's one of the best parts about it. Like there's not like I don't think there's any stupid decisions in Dr. Stone. Sometimes in shows, they're like, oh man, we have to have a character do something that's really dumb so like the plot can move along. In Dr. Stone, I feel like everything is just a game of chess and everyone's playing it and it's great. And then yeah, I didn't that's something that didn't even register to me. But Senku, you could see it as soon as he looks to where Stanley's supposed to be after he's like following Luna's eye line, you can see it in his face that he gave himself away. And yeah, that's why I started running. That's a detail I didn't even realize. And it's such a small one. It's so great. And now moving on from Patreon, this is another one from Ashes. By the way, half the episode was anime original. The Zenu flashback in the manga was like 2 pages only. So that probably makes sense as to why the Zeno flashback wasn't the entire episode. I would have loved it. But then you kind of have to strike a balance of manga readers potentially going like, oh, this wasn't in the manga. I want the direct adaptation. Why the filler? But I don't think I heard anyone complaining about it. So, man, I would have loved the whole episode to just be like Zeno flashback. I think that would have been great. But I think for it being anime original, it was great. I couldn't tell. I could not tell. They did such a good job capturing the essence of these characters. MF2 writer, you are the first I've seen that has mentioned that Zeno is exactly the kind of person that Tsukasa was worried about, or more exactly, what he was worried Senku was going to be. Thank you. And Tsukasa is always on my mind. Much like Taiju, I feel like he hasn't had much screen time since his season ended. So I always am looking for places that Tsukasa could potentially appear in. So to see Zeno fear, what I don't think he fears him anymore because he has guns now, but to see Zeno fear someone like Tsukasa waking up before him, or before that he could get his weapons ready, and to see Zeno be the exact thing that Tsukasa feared Senku would be, and that's why Tsukasa took such drastic actions. And Tsukasa's already heading to to Zeno for kind of an assassination. Not really. I think it's reconnaissance for a preemptive strike. They are literally on a collision course, and I don't know how they're going to do it because they don't have any personal anything towards each other like Senku has with Zeno. But like their philosophies, their ideologies. I want Tsukasa to have screen time, and this is me coping. But yeah, that was the Q&A for last episode. This was originally supposed to go at the beginning of the video, but it has been half an hour. So this is going to go later. So we're going to go to the end of this episode and start that Q&A. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I did not realize this was going to be so long. But you guys had great questions, and please, again, leave them down below. I'll do another reading. More than likely I will do another reading. And now to episode 9's Q&A. All right, so we're going to start off with Alex, who sent it in our Discord. Once again, you can check out the Discord in the description down below, and his Dr. Stone episode thoughts. Francois speaking English was so beautiful. Love it. Just putting it out there that Luna was basically the sole reason Senku got shot. Just wanted to remind everyone, because at least in the manga from here on out, they never mentioned that she was the reason he got shot. Like if she never gave his if she never gave his name, he would have not have needed her medical help. Which I feel like we did talk about that in Anne's comment, where she never meant for Senku to get shot. Like, yes, technically she's the reason that he got shot, but like she didn't. I feel like she didn't mean for him to get shot. I think that was like her Hail Mary, like, please let this be bloodless. Zeno knows someone on this ship. I think that was her Hail Mary. But if they never mention it again, that kind of feels weird. At least like apologize, like, hey, like she doesn't need to tell the crew, but like probably Senku at least, like, hey, I'm sorry, sorry about that. But no, I feel like that's kind of explained, or not explained. Like, I feel like that's something like you can give her character. Like, I think it was her Hail Mary. She did not mean for Senku to get shot. She wanted it to be peaceful. I think in her mind that if Zeno knew that Senku, his prodigy, was on the ship, that he was the next, or he was the enemy leader, that they would have talked it out instead of shot it out. Sadly, she very much underestimated how calculating and cold Zeno can be. The moment with Chrome Loki almost made me had me in tears. Chrome moments always hit the best. Yeah, I mean, who else is gonna step up when Senku is down? That's so true, man. That's so true. And then I didn't talk about the Medusa. There's so much stuff happens. I forgot to talk about the Medusa and that's why I write stuff down. I was just too engrossed in the episode. The Medusa threat is so perfect too, because even though it's a bluff, Zeno now knows that they know more about the petrification than the American colony does. That's true. That's got to be infuriating for Zeno. And that does give him more reasons to want to keep them alive. Now I do want, it has to be a bomb. It has to be something that'll like wipe them out, I feel like. Because I don't know like anything that'll incapacitate everyone so he can capture them later. Like that's got to infuriate Zeno that like these kids, like I forget that there's a lot of adults on the Kingdom of Science too, like Magma, Kaseki, Ukyo, but yeah, like these non-professional scientists, like half of them are kids. How dare they know more about the petrification than me? That's got to be infuriating for him. And yeah, that's just more. Like, it's not just the threat of, oh, they can petrify us all again. It's the fact that if we wipe them out, I might not ever know the secrets. I love that. I didn't even think about that. I completely forgot to mention the Medusa. And it's a ballsy threat, too. Also, I want to clarify, because while it may come up later, I know it does in some extras in the manga, but I don't believe it does in the actual story portion, which is why I'll say it. But Luna's friends aren't actually in love with her. They both act more like her parents. Oh, and just want to see her happy. Just want to say, because a lot of people I've seen been saying they are simping, which is fair to assume, but just want to clear it up. Okay, I think I even said that they were simping. I hope they develop that more. The fact that if they put it in like extras, then they might not. But I really like unique relationships like that. I really like those kind of relationships. There's I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head, but this is a bad example. But in Sword Art Online, I was on a Reddit thread, and this guy was defending like Sword Art Online is not a power fantasy harem, which it kind of is. It's enjoyable, but also not the best. But one of the main criticisms about it is that like every female character falls in love with Kirito, and that's something that I even like. There's just too many. Listen, a love triangle, great. Love square, okay. Love pentagon, it's getting out of hand here, right? But the guy was this guy who was defending he's defending the female characters in Sword Art Online, saying like they're not all of them are in love with Kirito, only some of them are. And then like I don't know if he was just bringing this up from the light novel or just like stuff that you bring up between the lines, but he's saying like this person sees him as a brother that they never had, this person sees them as like an inspirational figure, and all this. I'm like, man, I wish this was explored in the show. But apparently it's in the light novel, so maybe I get a little bit more out of that. But I hope that later down the line that they kind of go into that kind of relationship between Carlos, Max, and Luna, because that sounds really interesting. Actually, that's very unique. I really just thought they were going to go down the simping route with it, but I really wanted like that. I want that to flesh out that kind of parental relationship they have, because I think they're all the same age. That's cute. The ring though, the ring. I guess it's like a parent giving their kids some bling, right? No, I don't know, but I hope that that gets fleshed out more. Last thing too is for Josh. I promise Tsukasa gets some really good parts later this core. He mostly won't though. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, because this is episode 9, so we have 3 episodes left. We're probably gonna spend next episode building the drill. Okay, maybe not next episode, but definitely one whole episode is gonna be devoted to building the drill. And we have 2 episodes after that. Ooh, I don't know, but Thank you. I hope I've been hoping, like, even with the Patreon comments, we talked about it. I'm hoping that Tsukasa gets some good stuff. So we shall see. We shall cope and we shall hope that Tsukasa gets some good stuff. And yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. Probably I'm gonna have to wait like a half a year, 6 months to see it. But hey, you know what? It's coming, guys. It's coming. And then we are gonna get into Evie's comments here. I can't believe I forgot about the Medusa. That's crazy. That's such a gamble. Yeah, like it's doubtful. But what if he fixes it? What if he fixes it? That's such a gamble. All right, we're gonna get into Evie stuff. This episode is so good. My favorite. Yeah, he says they got Senku good. I'm surprised he let it get that bad. Like, I'm surprised that the bullets went clean through. I really thought he was going to need surgery because it went through the ship, it shattered, it went through the cement thing that Senku, the flower thing that Senku made, and then it went through Senku. I feel like it went through a lot, and I don't know how powerful the sniper is that Zeno gave Stanley. Maybe it is like a modern day sniper, and if so, then yeah, I would have gone through all that. But if it's more of like a primitive sniper, I'm surprised I went all the way through. That's good, but Senku got damaged. Luna shines. Yeah, I'm really liking Luna. I know there was a comment that said that they didn't like Luna that much. I like her. She's I think she's got like a lot of heart. She's got a lot of heart to her, especially being like more like the peaceful one, and she's kind of just being dragged into this. She doesn't really want to be here. That's what I don't know. That's kind of what I get from it. I've forgotten Chrome and Kohaki. I've forgotten Chrome and Kohaki were there. Me too, man. I completely forgot about them. Like, I knew Tsukasa and his battle team were going to Zeno. I completely forgot that they could rendezvous with Chrome and Kohaku. I did not register that they were there. The encryption method reminded me of the Navajo code talkers during World War II. I don't actually know those guys. I wonder if I'm gonna learn about them more when I take my world history class next year. Because for sure we're gonna be hitting World War II in that time period. Oh yeah, the encryption was fun. I feel like I would have said Senku's dead, guys, just to confirm it even more, and then like, you know, send encryptions like later. But I don't know, maybe that's more sus. Woof, though. That's got it. To get the encryption right, it's like it's so slow. It's like Senku's shot, you know, and then you have to wait for like the next part to spell itself out. Like probably like alive, you know, but still, that's just the suspense. Like he's shot, and then you have to wait for the next, like little by little. This is why we stand Chrome 100%, man. Ryu Sweet Shines 2. Oh my god, this is why I need to write stuff down. I mentioned it in the episode, and then I just don't mention it because I'm too engrossed in the episode and I don't write it down. I love that Ryusui is kind of like this de facto leader. Like he and Senku are co-captains. And when Senku's down, Ryusui can step up immediately. And it's like no one even goes like, oh, why is he in charge? He's like, okay, no, yeah, listen to him. He took charge. He started calling the shots. And it was clear, it was concise, it was basically exactly what Senku was trying to tell him, or what Senku wanted. So good. I love all the characters in Doctor Stone. How can I have so many favorites? Dig that hole. This is Chrome's moment. Gen being god tier. The ultimate liar is alive. I like Brody. Yeah, again, another thing I didn't talk about. Yeah, Gen. I mean, Gen does pull through. And it's so funny. It's like we have to have faith that Gen will pull through, and then Gen just immediately guesses. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what you guys wanted. But yeah, Gen, once again, our god tier liar. And yeah, I like Brody too. He hasn't had much screen time, but there's something about the way the author writes Dr. Stone like a lot of the characters are very likable, and with like such little screen time or development, they're very likable. There's just something about them. Maybe like their charisma, or like how much charisma they have, or how charismatic they can be. I like Brody. Like, I hope I don't regret saying that. I hope he doesn't do anything really bad. Brody's Koski. Dig, dig, dig. The children yearn for the mines. Hot take. I believe Chrome is way smarter than Senku. Like, imagine if he had been born in the 21st. No, I'm saying that. Like, like the Kingdom of Science, or not the Kingdom of Science, the people in the modern day. I think Senku does give him the credit, but like the people in the modern day need to give Chrome more credit, because Tsukasa Ukyo and Hyoga did not look that impressed with the drill idea, but I guess they're not seeing it through like that kind of perspective or lens. Chrome is literally coming up with the stuff. Like, bro, like, he has no concept for what this stuff is. He's not like, oh, a drill. Yeah, I can make a drill. I can remake that. Like, I'm not trying to dig on. I'm not saying this as a dig on Senku, but a lot of the stuff that Senku's doing is he's remaking things with the tools he has at hand, which is still like, you know, like he made a car, he made like this boat, he's fixing an airplane. Like, he's still incredibly smart, and he's way smarter than I will ever be. But Chrome is like coming up with concepts he should have no idea exist, and he's like, yeah, I can make this work. Oh man, like, yeah, no, I've said it once, I've said it before. It's super impressive what Chrome's able to do, and I love that Senku never takes a shot at him, like it's just a drill. Senku would take a shot, going like, so you've invented this, or like you've remade this, but then he will immediately follow up with like, Chrome, you have no idea how impressive that is. It took it was with the water wheel. He's like, you made this, like, you made this from scratch. Everything he even admitted, like, I'm just remaking stuff, but you made this from scratch. This came from your brain. Like, Chrome has, at least from the top of my memory, invented 3 things. Sure, we have them. He has no idea what he's doing. He has invented 3 things. That's incredible. That's just like, I wonder what he would be like if he had the knowledge of the 21st century. If he was born in that time, can you imagine what he'd be able to accomplish? This is crazy. The knowledge and the resources. No way in hell Luna is qualified for this, though. I don't think Luna's fixed. I don't think she's like actually operating on Senku. The good thing is that the bullets pass through. She's more kind of there going like, okay, is he alive? How's the pulse doing? How's his blood pressure going? But I don't think she's actually going to operate on him. I feel like you get Yuzuriha to sew him up, and then have Luna just go like, okay, he's still breathing. Here's some technical jargon, I think. Oh man. Also, Senku got shoved back. He's literally sending messages right now. Another goated episode. It's just cinema. Another goated episode of Dr. Stone. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a long Q&A segment, especially that first half, but I love reading your guys' comments, and I do respond to them. I do respond to every comment. But yeah, Dr. Stone, man, it makes me smile. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Join the Discord. It's free. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to like pay for anything. You don't need to do anything special. Just click the link down below. Join the Discord. Join the discussion. Have some fun with us. Talk about Dr. Stone. Talk about some anime down there too. We do kind of game nights, kind of viewing nights. Just nothing like set in stone. We don't have dates for them. It's just like, hey, people are on. We might watch something. You can talk. You can do whatever. It's a good time. It's a good time. And if you are so inclined, join the Patreon. Get early access, full length. We are in the last quarter. Oh, that hurts to say. We are in the last quarter of this arc, and yeah, I'm gonna be covering it. We got 3 episodes left, and I will be here for the next 2 parts. I may have retired from reactions, but I will finish Dr. Stone because I love it so much. So Yeah, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.